What if I told you that it's not vaccination, but food that is turning kids autistic? A lot has been said in the mainstream media about the link between vaccines and autism. We've seen the consequences of the anti-vaccination movement, and the situation with rising rates of children with autism gets worse every year. But there is a new line of research that is getting traction, and it's great news unless you're a company like Monsanto. A veteran researcher has found a major link in their search for what's triggering a massive spike in autism rates, and it appears to be the none other than Roundup, world's best-selling weed killer. Dr. Stephanie Seneff from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology has been researching autism for decades, and her results has led her to almost conclude that glyphosate, the main ingredient on Roundup, is a major driver of autism. And I quote, "The autism rate has come up from 1 in 10,000 in 1970. That's an alarming change. I got worried 8 years ago when I was seeing it rising and people were saying, oh, it's just more reporting, more diagnosis. That is a way to hide the evidence. Once an extremely rare health condition now afflicts about 1 in 68 children, according to the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, NIC. That's a really alarming statistic. From 1 in 10,000 kids to 1 in 68 in a matter of 20 years.
Yeah, and it's never, ever in the history of them reporting this disease been this high. And I'm talking about developmental diseases like autism.
It is.
It's never been this bad.
And we're seeing, and she's saying that the research shows that the use of Roundup correlates exactly to the rise of autism. And they have done studies where they map the use of the amount of Roundup in the crops in the last 4 years and compare that to the rate of autism in first grade kids. So they map from when they were born to when they're 4, and what's that relation? And it's almost 1-to-1. It's very scary. The good thing is that we can stop being distracted by the vaccination debate and saying vaccination is what actually creating autism, and realize that the main component of Roundup, glyphosate, is this very harmful chemical that it's killing the natural gut bacteria in the stomach and then making other chemicals that are included in the vaccinations very, very hard for the body to deal with. So now we have to face Monsanto. No easy task.
Well, maybe this will, lead to a whole revolution as far as the way we eat in this country. I hope it does. But this is a very important thing that's come to light here, and it's like we had to pin it on something. I think we found what it is, glyphosate. I really hope it is. And I read a long time ago that the reason that people in the Roman times were living so short was because they were using pipes to get their water into the towns, and they were using lead, and that was killing people. So I feel like it's just the same thing.
We'll find these situations.
Yeah, exactly. It's the same exact thing.
I mean, the scary part is that GMO corn made to resist Roundup, which is very, very harmful, it's a main component of our food supply. We almost use it in everything. If you go and see the labels, it's scary to see that 80% of the items that you find in any grocery store contain GMO corn, which makes it really hard for people to have an option not to eat this food to avoid it. That is very scary, and that's what we need to know, is that there's diseases that we didn't used to deal with, like celiac disease. 10 years ago, they didn't even know of the prevalence of it, but the more we eat these foods contaminated or engineered to resist these chemicals, the more we get them, because they get absorbed by the plants, and then we get the chemical.
It probably goes the same thing for cancer too. You see the cancer's going up so quickly, and it's like it's not a coincidence, and it's unfortunate that we're suffering, our bodies are suffering, our health is suffering, so that these companies can save money and expand and grow their operations.
What about make some big amount of money?
It's ridiculous.
I think so. Well, we want to know, what do you think? Do you think that Monsanto is the source of all food problems and probably the cause of this spike in autism? Let us know what you think in the comments, and if you haven't subscribed to the Lip TV.